I spit Patron on this microphone. Watch out, I'm in the zone. Worth for everything I own. Life is March Madness. One mistake, then you go. Yeah, I had a stroke, but your boy still rhyming. And Fresh got love, but the squad still wildin'. Catch me in any city in the hood, we grinding.
All right, so after Anthony Joshua's impressive victory over Kubrat Pulev, or I should say impressive to some, right? We have to revisit who's the number one heavyweight in the division. And so, you know, just because I have a feeling where the wind's going to blow on this one, I'm starting it off with Kaspera G. Is it G or Kaspera G right now? I just want to know.
Not Kaspera G and G in complete unison on this one. You know? Now listen, so how many answer? So it's obviously Anthony Joshua.
No. G. Kaspera G and G. Get yourself together here. You're a little all over the place right now.
I know you ain't talking about getting yourself together.
No, G, there's no right or wrong answer. Speak from the heart.
No, I'm just keeping it.
Keep it a buck.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Keep it a buck or get $1.50. You know what I'm saying? That's how we doing. There it is. Keep it a buck.
Yeah, wow.
I look at my razor. Keep it a buck or get $1.50. 100.
Yeah. AJ's clearly number one. You know what I mean? The resume, the level of opposition, even Pulev, you know, although he was never a champ, he's mandatory. He has a solid resume. So it's like AJ's constantly fighting top tier opponents. So clearly it's like that's not even a debate. However, who I feel is the most dangerous in that division, I'm leaning towards Tyson Fury. And the only reason why is because of what Tyson Fury did to Wilder in the second fight. That was pretty impressive. And it was, to me, if I was AJ, I'd be like, all right, yo, that dude's the real threat, you know? Like, so to me, it's kind of like, who do I think will win, right? I want AJ to win. I promise y'all this. I want AJ to body bag Tyson Fury. But back in my mind, I am hesitant. Like, damn, Tyson Fury is a dangerous dude. He's big. He got reach. And that last Wilder fight, he got up in Wilder, pause. You know what I'm saying? Like, and really put them hands on him. So I'm like, could he possibly do the same thing to Anthony Joshua? So that's how I'm answering it. AJ's clearly number one. Tyson Fury number two. Wilder number three. But Tyson Fury is a dangerous guy right now.
Dollar Bill.
Yeah, AJ, number one. Not only do we talk about accomplishments in the ring, we talk about, you know, the number of title defenses. We talk about hardware. We talk about everything. This kid is just level of competition beyond level of competition. I'm not even talking about a Deontay Wilder because we all in this panel realize who a Deontay Wilder is. And if we're going to give Tyson credit, well, anyways, let's just gotta be AJ. You gotta be AJ. AJ has proved it time after time again, even coming back from a loss. You know what I'm saying? And winning every round, you know, AJ, definitely number one. I can't argue with that, G. I got him as number one. Number two, definitely a Tyson Fury because, you know, Tyson Fury, the last millennial, Ring Magazine champ, WBC champ, you know. I can't wait. It's going to be like the Super Bowl in the UK.
The World Cup.
Well, it's still football. Still football.
Just a different ball. All right, Ned.
I really can't pick a number one in here. I think it's split between Tyson Fury and AJ. Like, it's the winner, the winner of that fight right there lets you know who's really the leader of the heavyweight division. For me, they're both talented fighters. When they both have skills. Like, AJ is powerful. He's tactical, and he has power in both hands. While Fury, he's very tactical himself. He's a defensive mastermind. It's not about the power, but it's about he's very evasive, and he has a lot of stamina for a guy his size, and he has the height and the size advantage over Joshua. But to say he would do this what he did to Wilder, he'll do the same thing to Joshua. They're two different fighters. Wilder, Fury knew coming into the second fight, Wilder only has one punch, and all he has to do is evade one punch and control the rest of the fight. So for me, it's just split. Like you can't really, huh?
No, I got you, my brother. We know that. Everything
Yeah,
told,
you can't.
You had to pick one.
I can't pick one.
So
But if I pick none,
Can't pick.
it's Wilder. I'll pick none, it's Wilder. Let's go.
I'm gonna take the safe way. He politician his way out of that one.
Yeah, but I don't like that. I feel like that's whack.
He
That's
politician his way out of that.
That's behind the camera stuff. Like
Then
out,
once
you
you
go
turn
out,
off the camera,
pick
that goes,
one.
yeah, you know I was gonna pick
you
AJ.
make
man.
something. You make a case. Like
All right. I can't have the floor again there.
yeah.
All right.
What's
So
yours?
I'm gonna do something G never did, yo. It's AJ by knockout. Fury say he gonna take him out in 3 rounds. AJ gonna take him out in 2.
Well,
I'm talking vicious.
we're not asking
Let's
you
go. AJ's number 1. That's
We're
it.
not
To
asking
put
to predict Fury Wilder. We're just asking you to predict who's the number 1 heavyweight, or not even who do you have as the number 1 heavyweight right now. That's it.
Anthony Joshua.
It didn't seem as hard as you made it.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
Anthony.
Ned said
Anthony.
everybody leaves with a trophy.
You get a trophy. So I think there are legitimate arguments for both fighters for number 1. I think regardless of who you have at number 1, I am not mad. Regardless of who you think will win that fight, I am not mad. See, the difference for me is I don't care who wins Joshua versus Fury fight. I know who I think would win or who I'm leaning towards. I have who I like, but in this fight, I like both men. So for me, you know, it could be even when I root for a fighter, it doesn't mean I hate the other fighter. It doesn't mean if the other fighter wins that I'm not going to salute and show respect and follow the other fighter's career. For me, the sport of boxing is bigger than fighters. And I wish fighters saw it that way, because Joshua Fury can take the sport to new heights. Joshua Fury can stop this talk about boxing being, for some reason, boxing is the only sport where they're like, oh, boxing's a dying sport, and then it keeps living, it keeps living, it keeps living. I never understand, because when you look at the pay-per-view numbers, boxing does well. They compare like the average fights and what, but the bottom line is this fight's huge for the sport. So for me, I want to salute both men for making a fight. The loser of this fight's not really a loser when you think of the money they're going to generate, the fan interest they're going to generate, and then they're also going to get a second shot at it. Even if you lose, you get a rematch. And we've seen fighters split, and then all that would do is make more money in a trilogy. So that no one's going to really lose. Someone's going to lose, but the sport of boxing is going to win is my point. And that's what we want at the end of the day. So if you have Fury at number 1, you're probably looking at the fact that he dethroned Vladimir Klitschko, and he took the titles, that he took all the titles that Joshua currently holds when he dethroned Vladimir Klitschko. Then he got suspended, and this is what gets overlooked. He got suspended for testing positive for a banned substance, and he said it was wild boar meat. Then he was out of the sport. He ballooned up. He had a great comeback. He had the great story. But then he came back against Deontay Wilder. Now, if you don't know how I feel about Deontay Wilder, then you haven't watched the audit yet. If you can be objective, if you're being objective, you know there's no argument that he was carefully matched his entire career. Even the Fury fight, he was carefully matched. He was fighting someone who was 400 pounds, lost over 150 pounds, was inactive for 2.5 years, fought 2 tune-up fights in 6 months, and then fought him. So he's been carefully matched his entire career. And kudos to Wilder. He almost pulled it off. The plan almost went perfect. Shelley, the evil genius, just did not know Fury had so much heart. And he did not know that Jack Reese was a good-ass ref. Those two things
I'll never
Stop the
forget-
Wilder train, huh?
I'll never forget Jack Reese to this day. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, if G ever sees Jack Reese,
Like,
So-
She just sound like Q. To this day.
but no, so those things. So Fury comes back and he beats Deontay Wilder. Here's where we part ways, though. The Klitschko victory, the best to me, even better than any of Joshua's victories. That one victory, the Klitschko victory, but that was years ago, 2015. The victory over Wilder to me is not as impressive as people make it sound. I told everyone Fury was going to beat Wilder. I was confident Fury was going to beat Wilder. Wilder has a right hand. I learned this the hard way. Bernard Hawkins versus Felix Trinidad. When Bernard Hawkins beat Felix Trinidad, he said at the end of the fight, a man has one punch. I take away the punch. If you are skilled enough, crafty enough, intelligent enough, you can take away that one punch. Wilder has one punch. Fury is arguably the most talented heavyweight boxer we've seen in a long time. It's not rocket science. It's not to me. So that's why you got Fury number one. But for me, Fury's Klitschko victory is 5 years ago. It's getting older. It's about to be 6 years ago. And his victory over Deontay Wilder, as impressive as it is to some people, to me, Wilder was never really that guy. He's been matched carefully his entire career. But you look at AJ's collected all the belts. So, yeah, you look at them like stones, they dispersed and AJ got them. He has the WBA, the WBO, the IBF, and we'll just count the IBO because it's in line with all those other titles. So right now, the guy who holds the other three titles matters, so the IBO matters right now. So we'll just add it. It's a nice little piece of jewelry, it's a little piece of jewelry with all the other jewelry, It's not as expensive.
I
It's not as expensive.
You said it's 10K gold. He got the 10K ring in there. It's a class ring.
It's just balancing it out. Even
like IBO better than the Weeby Crooks.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But then you look at Joshua's resume, and you got to give kudos to it. He beat Charles Martin. Now, I'm not saying Charles Martin's a world beater, but it's former heavyweight champion, and he's solid in his right. So you got to give him respect for that. Charles Martin's not on Deontay Wilder's resume. He's not on Tyson Fury's resume. Vladimir Klitschko on Tyson Fury's resume, and Tyson Fury outboxed Vladimir Klitschko in a fight that was a snooze fest. You'll never see it replayed on any channel. But Anthony Joshua's fight with Vladimir Klitschko is a classic. You'll see it over and over again. And Vladimir Klitschko wanted a rematch with Tyson Fury. He retired after Anthony Joshua.
Joshua decapitated him. You know what I'm saying?
Dillian White is on Joshua's resume, and we see Dillian White. Dillian White's gone and beat a number of great contenders himself. Very competitive. And so you got to give Joshua credit for that. Dillian White is not on Tyson Fury's resume. Dillian White's not on Deontay Wilder's resume. Joseph Parker, another good fighter. Joseph Parker has a victory over Andy Ruiz, champion. Okay, he has great victories within himself. And Joseph Parker's not on Tyson Fury's resume. He's not on Deontay Wilder's resume. Alexander Povetkin. Now, if you don't know, Povetkin just knocked out Dillian White with one of the most beautiful uppercuts we've seen. There's Gervonta Davis and Alexander Povetkin. You talk about some beautiful uppercuts right there. So, Alexander Povetkin is legit. Not on Tyson Fury's resume, not on Deontay Wilder's resume. Kubrat Pulev, the only guy to beat him, Vladimir Klitschko, never been knocked out. Joshua just knocked him out. When I say Joshua knocked him out, he really knocked him out. Like he had him on the floor for 10 seconds. You dig what I'm saying? So again, not on Tyson Fury's resume, not on Deontay Wilder's resume. And lastly, Andy the Destroyer Ruiz. Andy Ruiz split decision loss to Joseph Parker in his country. Could have easily won that fight. Could have been champion. Came in, fought Anthony Joshua, beat Anthony Joshua in Madison Square Garden in an immediate rematch. One of 4 heavyweight champions to win their title back in an immediate rematch. Okay? And who's got Floyd Patterson, Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis, and Anthony Joshua. That's the exclusive club to win their title back in an immediate rematch. When everyone was telling Joshua not to take the rematch because Ruiz became Sonny Liston, right? Joshua did that. Deontay Wilder had a chance to do it, but he's making so many conspiracy theories. I don't know if I'm watching an episode of Law and Order. I don't know what's going on with Deontay Wilder. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's how difficult it is. So when you look at the resume, when you look at the hardware, like Trill said, when you look at the accomplishments, when you look at everything in its totality, I'm going to go Anthony Joshua because he's beating more quality opponents. Now, with that being said, I do think Fury's the most dangerous opponent. I think Fury is a dangerous guy, but I also think Joshua's a dangerous guy, and that's why it's the fight we want to see. But for me right now, it's 1 and 2. You can make it 1A, 1B. Joshua's 1A, Fury's 1B. Hopefully they'll fight, and then we'll see.
Let us know how you feel in the comments section. And check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.
We could have been flawless, fly enough to make people's mouths drop jawless. How can 2 years be erased in 1 August? And you know I have my pride, so I had to get brolic. All in all, I can't call it. Just know you're my queen. Wish I was denim, cause then I'd be in your jeans. Can't fight fate, and you've been loving me since your teens. But when you can't move forward, you gotta wipe your slate clean.